As we approach the Brazilian Grand Prix, it's time to talk about upgrades. The Mexico Grand Prix was high-octane. Carlos Sainz won the race starting from pole as Ferrari secured a 1-3 result, while McLaren secured a podium with Norris, while Piastri put in his best recovery effort, making it damage limitation. Mercedes made the most with the fourth fastest car, while Red Bull endured a tough race weekend, with both Verstapen and the team taking a huge penalty in both championships. To continue with this competitive trajectory, teams will be bringing upgrades to Brazil, and I'll detail you all the information regarding these said upgrade packages right from Mercedes and Ferrari down to Red Bull and Williams. So don't go anywhere. Let's start this video with Williams' upgrades. The Grove-based team endured a tough weekend in Mexico as Franco Colapinto came home P12, while Alex Albon had a premature end to his race following his lap 1 tangle with Yuki Tsunoda. The team introduced certain upgrades at Mexico which revolved around the car's engine cover and beam wing, according to the FIA documents, are slated as circuit-specific parts. These upgrades were aimed at working around the car's cooling while compensating for the car's overall aerodynamic efficiency. And on-track results suggest that while the FW46 was one of the slowest cars on the speed traps, the offset versus downforce has given Williams a performance advantage. Clear proof is Alex Albon's Q3 appearance. And to keep moving on this competitive path, Williams are en route to bring certain parts to the Brazil GP. These won't be out-and-out upgrades, and according to close sources to Williams, the team will bring Mexico's beam wing to aid in efficiency, while the team will revert to its Austin spec engine cover to suit aerodynamic and cooling demands, to strike a better balance. Talking about the team's Brazil prospects, team principal James Vowles added, "I'm optimistic. We're still there with the car with the remaining races can score points. And we have every opportunity. Brazil again turning into a sprint race just creates more chance." Next, let's focus on Ferrari's upgrades. Ferrari enjoyed a delightful weekend in Mexico, as Carlos took the race victory, making it back-to-back wins for Ferrari, while Charles Leclerc came home P3, taking a podium plus the fastest lap of the race, contributing to a 41-point haul in the Constructors, taking second place off the table from Red Bull and now being the closest challenger to McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari came into Brazil with upgrades mounted on dating back to Monza and Singapore, and similar to the United States Grand Prix, and as the Ferrari engineers predicted, the SF24 performed strongly for most of the weekend, dominating the timing charts, be it in single lap or race pace. And even with upside-down circuit conditions and track demands versus Austin, the SF24 maintained its advantage in terms of aero efficiency and tyre degradation over McLaren and Red Bull, confirming that Ferrari now has the car with a clear advantage over the rest of the field. And finally, Fred Vasseur agreed to the facts, accepting that the team's development since the Dutch GP has stirred the strategic ship in a positive direction, while the car has responded well to the updates thrown in at it ever since. Adding, "We are in a good moment. We have made progress from Zandvoort in places. There was the Monza update, and from then on, we did very well. But then we went strong in both Austin and Mexico. I think we will be competitive until the end. It is not only the place, but also the execution of the race." Yet, Fred insisted on the SF24 having one weakness the team has to work on still, and that being the car's ability to perform around low-speed corners to the driver's asking. Vasseur revealed at Austin that the team has minor developments in the pipeline which will probably make its way to Qatar, but close sources to the Maranello team have reported that the engineers back at the factory certain parts of the updates ready for both cars, which is said to revolve around the rear suspension fairings, working on its aerodynamic detailing. This upgrade is aimed at improving the car's aeromechanical interaction to allow the car's mechanical platform to handle more downforce with improved stability and better distribution, while also aiding in improving the car's low-speed traction to specifically improve the SF24's slow-speed performance. Next, let's focus on Mercedes upgrades. The Silver Arrows had an average outing at Mexico. The team entered the Mexican GP weekend with two drivers having to run different spec cars due to lack of parts, giving the team the opportunity to run split comparisons to gather performance data. The weekend got off to a good start, and both drivers did improve as the weekend followed. Qualifying went as expected, with Hamilton and Russell locking out the third row, while both drivers were able to get unskirmished from the lap 1 and restart tangos, finishing P4 and P5 respectively, with an average pace deficit to the Ferraris by over 7 tenths. The shocking detail on this number is that Hamilton ran the upgraded W15 while Russell ran the old Miami spec, and the difference in pace between the two is just half a tenth, favouring Hamilton. A key factor to note here is Russell running with a front wing damage throughout his race, even undermining that difference. The encouraging sign, though, for Mercedes is the fact that Hamilton's W15 was able to do faster lap times than Russell's, but was inconsistent in its run, resulting in a modest average, depicting that the promise within the upgrades is there. The team just hasn't still figured out how to extract it properly. Hamilton post-race talked about this, revealing that throughout his race stint, he felt where the car was good and where it wasn't relative to the race's progression. Chauvelin commented on this, as the trackside engineering director revealed that the team used Mexico as an opportunity to gather data which has shed some light on their current pace, and the team are prepared to do so in the following final 4 races as well. On a parallel development program, Mercedes are reported to be introducing minor aerodynamic interventions over the coming races to the W15, which is said to revolve around the floor edge and diffuser profiling. As for the team's prospects for Interlagos, this has been a circuit that has favoured the Mercedes car in any era, so I am expecting them to perform well around here. Next, let's focus on Red Bull's upgrades. Red Bull endured a disappointing weekend at Mexico. Entering the weekend at Austin's positives, Red Bull hoped to enjoy a good result here, but the vice versa occurred as Max Verstappen came home P6 while Perez finished outside of the top 10. And Mexico has once again confirmed rival teams have overtaken Red Bull in the development, with the Austrian squad being outpaced by McLaren, Ferrari, and instances Mercedes. This has now dropped Red Bull down to 3rd in the constructor standings, while the points gap between Max and Lando is now down to just 47. So to sort the RB20's problems and to give themselves a fighting chance in this year's championship, Red Bull are set to introduce an upgrade to the car's front wing, incorporating the flexi wing elements at Brazil, which the team believes will compound over the floor update made at Austin, improving the car's overall performance. As for Brazil prospects, I genuinely think Red Bull are going to struggle here, seeing their performance at Austin and Mexico. Moving on to McLaren's upgrades, the Woking-based team had an okay outing following the introducing of floor upgrades at Mexico. While Lando Norris was able to get onto the podium, outscoring Verstappen by 10 points, the team lost out massively on the constructors' race to Ferrari, with Piastri finished P8. Upgrades seem to have improved the MCL38's pace over the weekend, but it still was not enough to maintain a consistent challenge against Ferrari. And again, as Austin exposed, Mexico also showed the MCL38's weakness around hard braking zones combined with slow speed cornering. Sector 3 for reference around Mexico. Following Austin and Mexico's upgrades, McLaren have no upgrades lined up for Brazil, but they do have the huge task of evaluating their latest package to see where they went wrong at last week, to seek optimum balance and unlock more performance within the MCL38, if any more is available. So with all these upgrades and a sprint weekend coming up, are you excited for the Brazilian Grand Prix? We are very much into your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section down below. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads, to keep yourselves up to date about the 2024 and 2025 Formula 1 seasons.